While giants like McDonald's and Burger King are locked in a never-ending battle for supremacy, frantically launching new value meals, the truth is, the fast food war is already over. The winner isn't a burger joint. It isn't the one with the most stores. In fact, the winner has fewer stores, a smaller menu, and isn't even open one day of the week. In 2023, while its competitors struggled, Chick-fil-A quietly raked in $21.6 billion in sales. And here's the stat that should keep every other fast food executive up at night. In 2023, the average standalone Chick-fil-A brought in an astonishing nearly $9.4 million in revenue. To put that into perspective, that is more than double the average revenue of a McDonald's. Let that sink in. A single Chick-fil-A, closed every Sunday, generates more revenue than one of the most recognizable brands on the planet. This isn't a fluke or a temporary trend. It's the result of a decades-long strategy built on principles that defy modern business logic. So, how did a restaurant famous for a simple chicken sandwich quietly conquer the entire industry? The answer isn't just in their secret recipe. It's in a business model so unique and effective that it has left everyone else playing catch-up. And we're going to break down the data, the history, and the unconventional strategies that prove Chick-fil-A has already won. To understand how Chick-fil-A achieved this quiet dominance, you have to go back to the beginning, long before the iconic cows and the packed drive-thrus. You have to go back to 1946 to a small diner in Hapeville, Georgia, called the Dwarf Grill. Its founder, S. Truett Cathy, had just been discharged from the U.S. Army, and with his brother Ben, opened a tiny restaurant with only 10 stools and 4 booths. The location was strategic, right next to a busy Ford assembly plant, providing a steady stream of hungry workers. Truett's philosophy was simple: serve quality food with genuine hospitality. He wasn't trying to build an empire, he was just trying to serve his community. The business was a family affair, rooted in hard work and service. But tragedy struck when Truett's brothers, Ben and Horace, were killed in a plane crash, leaving him to carry on alone. Still, he persevered, driven by the principles he'd established from day one. The famous chicken sandwich wasn't the product of a corporate brainstorming session. It was an innovation born out of necessity. In 1961, a local poultry supplier approached Truett with a surplus of boneless, skinless chicken pieces that were too big for airline meal trays. Seeing an opportunity, Truett started experimenting. He remembered his mother's method of cooking chicken, covering the pan to keep it moist. This led him to the pressure fryer, a device that could cook a piece of chicken as fast as a hamburger. After years of perfecting the recipe, the precise blend of seasonings, the toasted buttered bun, and those 2 crucial dill pickle chips, the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich was born in 1964. But Truett didn't immediately launch a chain. His next move was just as unconventional. Instead of a standalone restaurant, he opened the very first Chick-fil-A in 1967 inside a shopping mall in Atlanta. At a time when fast food was all about drive-in burger joints, this was a pioneering move that brought his restaurant right to the people. From those humble beginnings, the foundation was laid for a company that would one day become an industry titan. If you've ever been to a Chick-fil-A, you know it's just different. The drive-through line might wrap around the building, but it moves with an almost supernatural efficiency. The person taking your order is actually smiling, and when you say thank you, the response is always, "My pleasure." This isn't an accident. It's the most visible pillar of Chick-fil-A's dominance, a fanatical obsession with customer service. While other chains compete on price, Chick-fil-A competes on experience, and the data shows it's a winning strategy. For an incredible 11 years in a row, Chick-fil-A has ranked number 1 in the American Customer Satisfaction Index, ACSI, for quick service restaurants. In the 2025 study, they scored an 83 out of 100. To put that in context, KFC scored a 77, while the industry giant McDonald's landed near the bottom of the list with a score of 70. So why is the service so consistently good? It's deeper than a polite catchphrase. It's rooted in a company philosophy called second mile service, based on the idea of going above and beyond what's required. The first mile is the transaction. Hot, accurate food, served quickly. That's the bare minimum. The second mile is where Chick-fil-A lives. It's the unexpected stuff. Employees walking customers to their car with an umbrella in the rain, carrying trays for parents with young kids, and refilling drinks in the dining room. This culture is benchmarked not against other fast food chains, but against high-end hotels like the Ritz-Carlton. They weren't asking, how can we be better than Burger King? They were asking, how can we deliver a luxury service experience at a fast food price point? This obsession extends to their operational design. They pioneered the upstream ordering system, with employees using tablets to take orders and payments right in the drive-thru line, dramatically cutting wait times. It's why they have some of the fastest service in the industry, even with the most cars in line. This focus on service does two things. First, it solves a massive pain point in an industry where mistakes and indifferent service are common. Second, it builds an emotional connection. When an elderly couple in Houston was trapped by floodwaters from Hurricane Harvey, their 911 call went unanswered. Their next call? To their local Chick-fil-A. The manager recognized their number, and soon, an employee's husband rescued them with his boat. You don't get that kind of loyalty from a buy one, get one coupon. You get it by treating people with genuine care. That is the second mile. And it's a moat other companies just can't seem to cross. So, how does Chick-fil-A maintain this level of excellence across more than 3,000 locations? The answer is in the most brilliant and misunderstood part of their business, their franchise model. If you want to open a McDonald's, you'll need at least $500,000 in liquid assets. For Chick-fil-A, the initial franchise fee is just $10,000. That's not a typo. $10,000. This low entry fee is a stroke of genius because it completely changes the selection criteria. Instead of looking for wealthy investors, Chick-fil-A looks for something far more valuable: character. The selection process is famously tough. They get over 40,000 applications a year and accept fewer than 1%. That's an acceptance rate lower than Harvard or Stanford. One operator reported writing 12 essays and going through 10 rounds of interviews before getting approved. Chick-fil-A isn't looking for passive investors. They want hands-on leaders. Operators are generally prohibited from owning other businesses and are typically only allowed to run a single restaurant. This is the key. It ensures the owner is in their restaurant every day, working with their team and upholding the brand's standards. They aren't just franchisees. They're stewards of the brand. Of course, there's a trade-off. The operator doesn't own the building or the land. Chick-fil-A corporate does. In exchange, the company takes a much larger slice of the business, a royalty fee of 15% of gross sales and up to 50% of the profits. This might seem less attractive financially, but it's the secret to their consistency. By removing the high cost of entry, they created a massive pool of talented applicants who would otherwise never get the chance to own a business. They filter that pool for leadership and commitment to service. This model empowers a dedicated leader in every single location, whose personal success is tied directly to the company's core values. It's an engine for excellence no competitor has been able to replicate. Coming up, we're digging into how Chick-fil-A uses scarcity and simplicity to its advantage. But if you're finding this breakdown fascinating, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We break down the strategies behind iconic companies every week, and I'd love for you to be part of the conversation. In an industry defined by more items, more locations, more hours, Chick-fil-A built its empire on the power of less. This counterintuitive approach is a huge reason they've won, and it shows up in two key areas: their menu and their schedule. First, the menu. At McDonald's or Burger King, you're faced with a dizzying array of options. This something for everyone strategy complicates the supply chain, increases errors, and slows down service. Chick-fil-A, on the other hand, is a masterclass in focus. The menu is deliberately simple, revolving around chicken. This laser focus allows them to perfect every part of their operation. They can ensure higher food quality, streamline their kitchens for speed, and simplify training. When your team only has to be great at a few things, they can become exceptionally great at them. The second and most famous example is their policy of closing on Sundays. When Truett Cathy opened his first diner, he closed on Sunday to rest and worship, a tradition that has continued for over 75 years. From a purely financial standpoint, This seems like madness. They are voluntarily giving up 52 days of sales every year. But this decision is one of the most brilliant business moves in the industry. First, it's a massive advantage in the labor market. In a high turnover industry, guaranteeing every employee a day off on the weekend is a powerful tool for recruitment and retention. It helps them attract higher caliber employees, which contributes to their superior service. Second, it creates a powerful psychological effect on the customer: scarcity. The fact that you can't have it on Sunday makes you want it more on Saturday and Monday. It turns a simple meal into an event. How many times have you heard someone say, "Ugh, I'm craving Chick-fil-A, but it's Sunday"? That craving doesn't just disappear, it builds. Finally, the policy powerfully reinforces the company's brand. It communicates that Chick-fil-A is a company that prioritizes its people and values over profits. In an age of corporate skepticism, this feels authentic and earns a level of trust that marketing campaigns can't buy. By choosing to do less, Chick-fil-A achieves far more. Okay, we've covered the history, the service, and the wild business model. But what about the scoreboard? Let's look at the cold, hard numbers that prove the war is over. While some competitors saw sluggish performance, Chick-fil-A's U.S. sales grew to a staggering $22.7 billion in 2024. The company has added a mind-boggling $9 billion in sales since 2020. But the most telling number is the average unit volume, or AUV. The average Chick-fil-A restaurant generates about $7.5 million in sales annually. Their standalone non-mall locations do even better, averaging nearly $9.4 million. Let's compare that to the competition. Raising Cane's, a strong competitor, has an impressive AUV of around $5.7 million. McDonald's, the supposed king of fast food, sits at roughly $4 million. And Starbucks? Just $1.8 million per location. This means a single Chick-fil-A, operating 6 days a week, outsells its biggest competitors by a factor of 2 or more. They do this with a smaller footprint of just over 3,000 locations compared to the tens of thousands operated by McDonald's and Starbucks. This isn't just winning, it's total dominance on a per-unit basis. Their model of focusing on fewer, more profitable locations has created a business that is simply more efficient and more beloved than any of its rivals. They don't need to be on every street corner because customers will go out of their way and wait in longer lines. While other brands fight a war of attrition, Chick-fil-A is playing a different game, and the scoreboard makes it clear who has won. The fast food war was never going to be won with the most restaurants or the cheapest burger. It was always going to be won with something much harder to create: fanatical customer loyalty. Chick-fil-A understood this from the start. They built their empire not on transactions, but on relationships. They weaponized kindness through their second-mile service, making customers feel valued. They engineered excellence through a revolutionary franchise model that selects for character over capital. And they leveraged the counterintuitive power of less, using a focused menu and a 6-day work week to enhance quality and build a brand that people trust. While others continue to fight over the scraps of a broken service model, Chick-fil-A is playing an entirely different game. They aren't just a fast food restaurant, they are a cultural phenomenon and a case study in brilliant business strategy. The data is undeniable, the satisfaction is unmatched, and the conclusion is clear. The war is over, and Chick-fil-A won. But the industry never stands still. With new competitors emerging, can this dominance last forever? Where do you see Chick-fil-A in the next 10 years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more.